Hi all, DT here. I'm going to talk about Gnome-disk-utility today. It truly is a jack of all trades, and it's important to really familiarize with this utility for the things you can do with it. And I will use my little guide here to help me keep in line with what I want to try to describe. The This app, you can erase a flash drive, you can erase a hard drive, you can format a flash drive, you can format a hard drive, you can install an ISO image so that you can install an operating system onto a computer if you wish. It's essentially you're burning an image to the drive is what you're doing when you're installing an ISO image. You can rename a partition. You can auto-mount a partition, and you can enable write cache to drives that enhances the speed of your drive. So there's many things you can do, and it really is impressive for the utility that it is. I'll try to describe on how to, or show you how to do some of these things. So let me begin with, we'll start with just burning a ISO image. So here I have Tiny Core, and it's an ISO image that I downloaded and I copied it to the desktop. So I'm going to put in a flash drive. Just any flash drive, well, not any, but I would use a 16 gigabyte or maybe an 8 gigabyte minimum, but 16 would be preferable to use to burn a image. So when I install the flash drive, there's nothing in the file, it's empty. This is the flash drive, and I named it King 31 for basically it's a 32 gigabyte drive, and it's a Kingston, so I just shortened the word to King. And so we're going to get the ISO image. So I'll just go to the desktop, and what you can do is, I guess here I better bring it up. Actually, you need to bring up the application. So here's Gnome-disk-utility, and it sees the drive. Once I've plugged it in, you can see it right here, and Kingston Data Traveler 31, 32 gigabyte thumb drive. So you would want to highlight it first, and then you want to go into, next to the power button off to the right, you have drive options here. So you would just click on it, and what we want to do is restore a disk image. You might think you might use another, like create a disk image, but you're actually going to restore a disk image to burn to disk. So you click on it, and then you have to maneuver to where that image file is, and I have it on the desktop, and there it is there. It's only 16 megabytes of a ISO image. So you click open, and be careful that you read what it says here. You're wanting to restore the image. You want to make sure you're using your thumb drive, that the destination is correct, because otherwise you can affect your other partitions and you could lose everything. So be very aware when you do this, and don't be in a hurry, but read everything to make sure you've got it correct. Now I'm going to click Start Restoring, and then click Restore. It says all existing data will be lost. So it's warning you one last time. This is for the thumb drive. Click Restore, and then I have to authenticate my put in my password to be able to do this. And it's so small that it's done. That's how tiny it is. So you've burned the operating system to the flash drive. Now if you want to install it into a computer, or actually you might even be able to leave it on a flash drive, then you'd have to boot into it. But this video today is not going to go that far. I'm just showing you the process of how to burn an image to a flash drive. So that's the first thing I want to show you. The second thing, let's bring up, here, let me close this out. Come back to, where did it go? I guess I must have closed it. So we're bringing this up again. Also, if you want to erase this drive, I guess I should show you that. So say you do want to erase this. You can, well, let's see. How do I want to show you here? You can, basically you would format the disk. So say I want to erase it. So now I don't need this on this flash drive. So format disk. Now you can do a quick erase, but this isn't going to give it, it's not going to allow you to use the thumb drive immediately, but I'll show you. So say you just do the quick format. So we'll format it, click format, and now you got free space. You formatted it, but you don't have a, you need to add, how can I explain it? You need to create a partition if you ever want to use this flash drive again, and you also need to create a what do you call it, a file system. So if you say you want to use this flash drive now, it's all empty, but you want to reuse it. So here we're going to put, I'm going to put what it is. It's a Kingston, but I'm just going to type King, and I'm going to type 31 again. And then you can decide, do you want an NTFS file system, which is compatible with Windows and Linux to some degree. You can also format it to FAT. You can also format it to ext4, which is Linux based. But we'll just do NTFS to show you. And then all you have to do is hit create. You're not erasing it, you're just formatting it, which is another way to kind of, it writes over any data that's there for the most part. It's not a complete erase of the drive, but it's sufficient enough for most purposes and to basically reuse the drive again. So I'm going to hit create, and I'm going to use the NTFS. And you can see the little, it's rotating, it's telling you it's in the process. It shouldn't take too long. And now it's done. It says King 31, NTFS, which is the file system. And so now you can reuse this flash drive again to copy files to, or whatever you want to do with it. So that's formatting a drive. Or I guess, yeah, it is formatting a drive. So I erased the drive, I formatted it. I also installed an ISO image. I showed you that. Renaming this, well, I already partially showed you how to rename. Let me see if I can even do another rename here. Doesn't edit file system. Let's see. Yeah, I can rename it here. But you have to be careful. Change file system label, King 31. So here I could rename it. There's a little warning. The label matches existing label. I'm not sure if you can still use this if you change the name, but there's no harm in trying. So let's just say trying and see what happens. Change. So it did change, and I bet you can still use this. It just has a different name because it's showing 31 NTFS. So you still can use this. That was one way to rename it. So we'll call that a day for that. Now auto mounting a partition, that's where it gets tricky. Say you, well, I'll give you an example here. My drive here, let's see if I can explain. I installed Linux on my SSD. It's a 512 gigabyte disk. Okay, so it has the EFI FAT partition and the whole other partition for the operating system, and this is Mint Cinnamon, or Linux Mint Cinnamon. Then I added a second drive, and I also called it HDD for a slow spinning disk drive, which is HDD, and it's a terabyte. And so I install, archive all my other files on this drive, basically. But what I did was that I had to, for my operating system to see the drive, I had to highlight it. Then I had to go into the three dots here. Then you go into drive settings. And oh no, I'm sorry, that's not correct. Go into, let me see, how did I do this? Should be drive, oh no, it isn't drive settings. Go into, you highlight it, you go to the little gear box here next to it, additional partition options. And here you could format it, edit, whatever you want to do, but also be careful to read about how to do this or experiment on something simple so that you can learn. But be careful that you're aware of what you're doing when you do this. So what I want to do is edit mount options, okay? So if you click here, you have mounted. Initially, this wasn't checked. Mounted, all of this stuff was not highlighted. I had to go in here and click Mount at Startup, basically. So what you would do is click, hit OK, reboot, and then this partition will mount at startup, and it gives you the whole mounting point here. It identifies the drive. So it's very handy that the disk-utility can identify the drive you're using by simply going into mount options. So this is all you have to do is basically, it'll be all grayed out. What you have to do is either, I don't think you have to switch this at all. You just need to click on this. You may have to put this switch on, but I don't think so. When you go in here and say it hasn't been mounted yet, just pay attention to the details. Once you're done, you click OK, and then it will auto mount on reboot every time. And not just one time, but every time it'll do an auto mount. And then you're able to use the drive. Make sure it's formatted to the right file system. In this case, for Linux, it's ext4. Although I could have put NTFS and still used it with Linux. But I'm more of a Linux guy, and there was no reason for me to use NTFS. So, and then I guess the last thing is enable write cache to drives. This is I think it helps the memory, your RAM. It does have a few negatives, but they're, I think, overall minor. So what I did was, for my main operating system, you highlight it, you come into the three dots, you go to drive settings, then you go to write cache, and then you check this, and then click OK. It's already enabled. But I guess this is the warning. Performance is increased by enabling write caching, but leaves the system susceptible to data loss in the event of power failure. So be aware of that. If you live in an area where you have a lot of power failure for some reason, you may not want to enable this, but where I live, I'm not concerned. So I enabled the write cache for ultimate performance. And I not only did it for the SSD, but also for the standard hard drive. So if you come in here, I believe, go to drive settings, go to write cache. Yeah, so I enabled it for both drives. And if it's grayed out, and that means you can't enable the drive, so just be aware of that. I guess that's it for now. I'll have the show notes will give you some links here and the things that I covered. Hopefully this will help some of you. And anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time.